You're in the zone now.
I'm in the zone,
You know what? I had you on the ropes there. I threw a little tickler there.
Ramsey.
And you was there, but you.
I'd like both of them to get in the England
you have.
team, to
You've
be
come
fair.
back and caught me with one here, so I need to bring the A game.
Joe presents In Defence Of, brought to you by Betball. Yes, people, Stevo the Madman here. Welcome to In Defence Of, brought to you by Joe and Betball. Now, stepping up to the away end today is an ex-baller who scored over 100 goals for Crystal Palace. He's played internationally for Ireland, and right now he is a bad boy TV pundit. So it's going to be tough for me to pull his pants down and smack his body. Coming up to the away end today is my G, Clinton Morrison. Boy! Brother, it is a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to meet you, mate.
Before I start, I want to give you some flowers, bruv, because especially my generation, growing up, there wasn't many people that I looked around and I'm like, he's like me. He comes from where I'm from, you know what I mean? And you was that guy and you was playing at the highest level, you know what I mean? And you've gone on to still be at the highest level in football, man. So, brother, I appreciate you, mate.
Big respect for you. I love what you're doing, man. It's hard work to get to where you've got to, and you're inspiring a lot of youngsters at the moment, so keep the good work going.
Thank you.
No worries.
That's enough of us being nice to each other.
Yeah, because I'm not that guy for being nice. You know me already.
I know, bro. I've heard, bro. I know people, you know. So, Clinton, what have you come to my gaff to debate today?
I'm here to tell you why I think Michael Olise is the best youngster outside of the top 6.
Ooh.
You can't argue with that. You're trying to think. There's no way you could argue that.
He's tidy, mate. This is a...
Do you want to give up now, then?
No, because he hasn't even had an England cap or a French cap. I know he could play for like bare different countries. So I don't know if he's there yet at that level, because there's other players outside the top 6. Declan Rice. Now, I don't know where youngster cuts off. We're probably going to have to differentiate that. But
I think it cuts off at, say, 22, 23.
Okay.
Declan's older than that, isn't he?
You know what? Before we get into that, obviously, we get up to 60 seconds to get up to the podium, to say the points that we're going to bring over here. Then we get over here, and then we really get into it, man. So, yeah, floor is yours, my G.
Okay, let's do this. I want to tell you why Michael Olise is the best young player outside the top 6. Last season at Reading, won Young Championship Player of the Year. I don't think anyone else could have done that, to be fair. Playing for Reading Football Club, outstanding. And I'll go to his stats this season at Crystal Palace since he's been in the Premier League. Brilliant. He's had 5 assists in 21 games, but 12 of them have come from the bench. Amazing. 2 goals, and you got to realise he's just turned 20 years of age. 20 years of age. That is still a youngster in the Premier League. His left foot is brilliant. He plays on the right-hand side. He can come inside. He can go on the outside. He can score spectacular goals. He can assist a lot of goals. The partnership between him and Wilfried Zaha this season has been phenomenal. Patrick Vieira really rates him. If a legend of the football club like Ian Wright is saying he's the future, he definitely is the future. February, he got Player of the Month. And for me, he's the real deal and will play for England one day.
Clinton, my brother, you made some great points there. But I think it's a little bit too soon to be putting him there, and here's why. Start the clock. First of all, Conor Gallagher. He plays for Crystal Palace. He is a youngster. He just won Young Player of the Year. That should be the debate right there. But I'll add Eze to that as well. Another good youngster playing in the same team as Michael Olise. Now, is he even the best player at Crystal Palace? Moving on from Palace, there's a young kid called Jacob Ramsey. I think he might get an England nod just before him, you know? So, also, there's Neto. I nearly forgot about Neto. He's injured. Lampty. I could keep throwing all these names at you. And I also think it's a little bit too soon for Olise, because he ain't even played 100 league games, bro. So, like, you're putting this pressure on the kid, and I agree with you. He's cultured. So it's not a debate whether the kid's cultured or whether he's good or not, but I just think it's a little bit too soon. But you know what, brother? We're going to discuss it anyway. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to this one. Oh, it's going to be juicy. Listen, this one's going to be tough for me because I know ball. Yeah, and I know what you're doing here. You've seen a kid that you know is going to go on and do wonders, and you're sticking your neck out.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's too early, personally. But we're going to discuss this now. But I think we have to sort of, as I say, gauge this line of what's a youngster. So, for instance, Is Declan Rice out of it? Because for
Yeah,
me, he's the best midfielder in the world.
Yeah, I'd
So,
agree
but
with you.
he's out of it, yeah?
He's definitely up there, but he's out of it. That's
Okay.
why I've come with this Olise talk, because I think Declan Rice is out of it. If Declan Rice was in it, then it'd be a different
Okay.
conversation altogether.
So I think we should probably start with at home, and that's at home as in Crystal Palace, right? And I
Yeah.
mentioned it earlier. You got Conor Gallagher
Yeah.
in the team. Is Michael Olise even the best youngster at Palace?
It's a good point you make, but at the moment, what I would say is Conor Gallagher is not a Crystal Palace player. He is a Palace player,
Oh,
but
yeah,
he's going to
okay.
go back to Chelsea.
Loopholes.
Yes, he will. He is a Chelsea player. He's just on loan. So that's why you could throw Conor Gallagher into it. It's a good point you make, but he's only here for on a loan, on a year loan. Hopefully Palace can extend.
Mark Gay?
Yeah,
18 million buy from
good
Chelsea.
player, but I'm looking at attacking players. He's a good defender.
Why do we
'Cause
do
I was
this?
When
When we
I
do
do it
this?
because of ex-striker, and I look at it as a centre forward and think to myself, if I was playing with someone like Olise,
Yeah, you'd love
all I need to do is make the runs, stay in the box, and I'd score goals.
So what's his attributes then? Let's talk about Elise's attributes. And
His
win me
attributes-
over, bro, because as I say, I'm probably not
Hey, let me
watching
tell you,
him
his
enough.
attribute, he's silky. You know, like when he's moving with the ball, it doesn't look like he's running at pace. You look at some of these wingers and you're thinking, have they got full control of the football?
Mm-hmm.
When he goes past it, it's slow, but it's so silky and smooth. It can go either way, inside, outside. He has loads of assists. The link up with him and Wilfried Zaha is superb. He scores all kinds of goals. He can score the horrible goals which you need from a winger, and he can score the spectacular goals. And as a fullback, I can guarantee you, if you say you're playing against Olise, you're having nightmares because you know he's got everything.
You don't know which way.
You don't know which way he's going to go.
I've watched a little. I've watched him enough to know that I tweeted about him after the last
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
And I said, this kid's cultured. He's going all the way.
Because what you got to realise is, when he came from Reading Football Club, Palace signed him for £8 to £10 million. That is going to turn out to be a bargain
Even
at the
that.
end of the day. He was a number 10. And the Championship is a big step up to the Premier League. And to make that adjustment so soon in his career,
just
being
blew
only
up.
20 years of age, is magnificent.
Do you think, because I look at him and I do look at him, and again, he's not your typical winger, but he can go on the outside. When he cuts in, it's not just necessarily going to be a shot or a cross. He can do through balls, little dinks.
Yep.
The kid's cultured. Do you think he might move inside?
He could move inside. It's a good shout. I think he can play in that number 10. I just think Patrick Vieira's not playing him there because you've got Conor Gallagher there, who's started the season ever so well.
He's just won
And
my argument for me there.
No, I didn't won it because he started the season well and he's been
really
scoring
well,
goals from that area. And I think Michael Olise on that side has been outstanding. Not only going forward though, because as you say he's done his defensive work.
important,
And to come into the Premier League, it's a big jump. The Championship to the Premier League is a huge jump, and he's done that brilliantly. So for me, he's just smooth. Because if I'm playing against him as a defender, I'm thinking he'll go one way. I think I've got him. He chop you back the other way. He just looks smooth.
He's got this face on him as well that he's never bothered. He matched up against the better fullbacks. I'm trying to think. So
when they played Man City away, and he's obviously playing against Cancelo, caused him loads of problems, made that assist for Gallagher to score the goal. He's just grown into it. At the start of the season, he was out of the team, and that's why he was coming off the bench and making impact. And you've got to realise he's keeping the likes of Eze, who's another exciting young player, out of the team. And I just think the adjustment, people don't realise how hard it is to come as a 20-year-old from the Championship and just go into a team like Crystal Palace, who are evolving under Patrick Vieira, and be a star. And that's what he's been. And you know another thing? Last season, we'd always talk about when Wilfried Zaha is not in the team, Palace don't get results. You don't say that anymore because you've got a youngster like Olise that can step up to the mark. He will become an England international. But it's up to Gareth Southgate to pick him because he's got like Algeria and France knocking on the door as well. So
and you've got Vieira as well in
There
your
you
ear.
go.
Vieira's going to be in his ear.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Sometimes you get these youngsters that come up and they've come up in the level is and they take a bit of time to get into it. Well, we had a bit of, I say luck, Eze's bad injury.
Yep.
Let him get into the team. And now obviously he's keeping, him and Conor Gallagher are keeping Eze at the team. But do you feel if Eze didn't get that injury, would he have even gotten the chance?
Yeah, that's a great question and a great point that you make. And I don't think he probably would have got the chance because coming from, as I say, the Championship to Reading, it would have took time and he would have to sit on the bench and make an impact. But I think as soon as he went into the training ground and they saw the talent that he had on the pitch, he was thinking, he's a baller. I can play with him. You know how I know when the club's happy and the player's a baller? is when you see Wilfried Zaha on the other side. And if Wilf is smiling, he's enjoying playing with him. Yeah. And if Wilf is passing to him and playing with him, he's enjoying playing with him. And at the moment, you can see Zaha's games going to a different level. And that's being inspired by all these youngsters around, because he knows he has to be on top of his game because these youngsters are trying to take his spot.
Do you remember when Balassi was on the other side? And it seems like Wilf's got that thing where he can step it up.
Yes.
Turn the switch on and off, you know what I mean? And if you've got someone on the other side that the Palace fans are shouting his name and the pundits and all that are shouting his name, he's got that switch where he can switch on. And I feel like Wilf's done that, to be fair. So we spoke about the young players at Crystal Palace, and I think a lot of us are a prisoner of the moment when we look at Conor Gallagher. Definitely. You know what I mean? Because, and I say this, if he was as special as he is, he gets in that Chelsea team, I think, or he don't get let go. So there's that to be said, but he's doing really well. But I do want to throw a few other players at you that play for other teams. First, I'm going to go with probably my favourite, forget youngster. That's when I watch this kid play, it's a joy to watch, and that's Tyrique Lampty.
Yep.
Bro, he got a bad injury, but prior to that injury, he would have been in an England squad. Now, I know he's got other right-backs, like world-class right-backs ahead of him, which is a shame, to be honest with you. But I think if you're smart in your Southgate, you have him in your squad and you bring him on at the end of the games and that, because his pace is frightening. But Tarique Lampty, what's your thoughts on him?
No, he would have been knocking on the door, because you look at it and obviously they've got the likes of Reece James and they've got Alexander-Arnold. It's tough at right-back. There's a lot of things, but I definitely think if he didn't pick up that big injury, Southgate would have definitely been looking at him, because I think going forward, if you're going to play a wing-back, I think he's outstanding as a wing-back. Maybe as a full-back, his defensive duties, he can improve on it. But you got to realise, as a youngster coming through at Chelsea, he played higher up.
Yes.
They've turned him into a full-back.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so he's an exceptional young talent. And you can throw that into the mix. I'm not changing, though. I'll praise a player when I praise a player. And he's an outstanding young individual, to be fair.
I've got another one for
not
you.
Olise.
Again, these players, and this is maybe why Olise's getting noticed, because these players I'm naming have been injured, but Pedro Neto. Let's talk about Pedro, man. Before he got injured, I think up until his injury, which is 11 months ago, so we're going back to January, February, he'd scored similar goals, 6 goals, 7 assists for a struggling Wolves team. This is when they started struggling. But then he got injured and he's returned recently. I'm looking at him thinking, whew, this guy's cultured. But again, I'm looking at him and I'm like, Olise, you're at a Palace, no pressure.
Yeah.
This kid's already made his international debut for Portugal, a good Portuguese team. A lot of competition there, and he got into the team. Pedro Neto, man.
Yeah, he's been out for a long time, so that's why people forget about him. But he's exciting. If you look at when Diego Jota got the big move to Liverpool, I thought he was just as on a par with Neto.
Yes,
I thought
100%.
Neto
This is it.
was outstanding and stuff like that. And you are right. He's obviously playing in a Wolves team that are flying at the moment. But I feel in that Wolves team, you've got the likes of Neves, João Moutinho, Jimenez. There's some exceptional players, so that's going to make you flow. And your argument could be, well, at Palace, you've got the likes of Wilfried Zaha, Conor Gallagher, exceptional players. But those type of players, as João Moutinho, have got so much experience that's helping Neto to improve his game. Where Olise has come in there from the cold at a championship and gone straight in.
Jacob Ramsey.
Oh, you threw one.
Mate, this kid here, who I think will probably get in the England team before Michael. I really do. But not only that, as I say, he's got braces in games, which for a young kid, you don't really do, especially from the midfield. You know what I mean? This kid wants the ball. He rattles players. You know what it's like as a young kid, sometimes you're a bit timid, but the young kids that rattle people, they're usually the ones that go on, you know what I mean? They don't really care for them olders, but not in a disrespectful way, you know what I mean? So he's got that arrogance about him. You can have good midfielders, because I've seen them as managers, but they don't have man management. Stevie G looks like he gets your arm around you as well and says, look, this is what I used to do. You know what? Slow that run down. You know what I usually figure out? After 70 minutes, he's getting all of that, bruv.
Now you're in the zone now.
I'm in the zone,
You know what? I had you on the ropes there. I threw a little tickler there.
But Ramsey,
and you was there, but I'd
like both of them to get in the England
you have.
team, to
You've
be
come
fair.
back and caught me with one here, so I need to bring the A game. You're spot on about Ramsey. That is close. You've made me start thinking now, because Ramsey's outstanding. He's one young player I would love to see be in that England squad. He's got exceptional talent. You're right. You can learn from Steven Gerrard. The same way Olise is learning from Patrick Vieira. Yeah, he's got a chance, because he's actually got an advantage of Olise, that he's already played England under-21s.
Has Olise not?
Olise hasn't played in the England under-21s yet, but sometimes good players jump above that. And I think Olise could jump above that. I think he's exciting, and he could be that wild card.
Who do you think Olise will choose? Because he's got the choice of 4, right?
Yeah.
England, France, Algeria, Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and the funny thing is, to play for your African home country at the moment, it's a bit of a thing, you know what I mean? So a lot of African players are going and choosing that. But you got Big Pat above you, French World Cup winner, Premier League legend, I say, in your air.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's a hard one. Listen, because you look. It's a hard one because you look at obviously Nigeria and you've seen the likes of obviously Lookman.
Yeah,
who
man.
play for England under 20. He's now declared he wants to play for Nigeria. So it's Algeria as well because these might be family heritage and stuff. So he might have family in his ear saying you should play for them.
Probably.
And then France. What do you do? If you're in that first team and you're saying you can go and play with the likes of Benzema, Griezmann, Kylian Mbappe.
Mbappe for the next 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. So the list goes on. And then you say, go and play for England with the likes of Foden and obviously Ramsey, who's going to, and some of the youngsters that are coming through. So it's a difficult choice for him to go and make. But that's what I'm saying. If I'm Southgate, I'm the manager. I'm getting him in and around the squads now.
Again, while we're touching on picking internationals as well, you picked Ireland.
Yeah, I picked Ireland. Listen, I was picked to go and play for the England under-21s. I was picked then, and then I had a decision to make. I met Mick McCarthy, and he kind of sold it to me. You'll be going to the 2002 World Cup if we get there. And as a youngster, you can't turn down opportunities, and you got to weigh up your options. I weighed up my options, and I thought, let me go with it. I went with it, and it's what my heart done, because you can always have outside influences telling you what to do, but at the end of the day, it's down to me to make that decision. I had to. My claim one to fame is, though, listen to this, I love telling people this, we played Brazil. So Brazil, I start with a few players they had. Cafu.
What year are we talking?
Wow, this could be after, it might be around 2004. Or it might even, 2004. They had Cafu, Carlos, Ronaldinho, Kaká, and the real I shouldn't say real Ronaldo, but R9. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, R9. So we're playing. It was 0-0, good game. But who gets man of the match? None of those. Clinton Morrison. I feel we should end that on that, you know, because that is big cheese.
Well, we can't end it because I still need to win this debate,
you need to win, but
I'm going to give you your flowers.
Are you going to give me my flowers? Yeah, amazing. I like that. That's my big story. I love that story.
But if I am comparing to just kids his age, how far is he off the Sanchos and the Fodens?
No, I don't. Listen, the Sancho one, Sancho's exciting. I like Jadon Sancho. He's a player. It's only now you're starting to see the real him because Man United decide I want to play him regularly. Can't keep playing him for 2 games, taking him out for 4 games. He's an exciting young talent. For me, Foden's levels. Like as all the youngsters, he's the one where Pep Guardiola comes out and says he's worked with the likes of Messi. Foden's up there with his ability. So I think, see, the problem is Vieira's an outstanding manager. If Olise is doing ever so well, say if a Man City wanted him, and he went and worked under Pep Guardiola, how much of a player would he become then? Look what Pep Guardiola done to Raheem Sterling. Made him a superstar. So imagine someone like a Pep Guardiola working with Olise. I do believe Patrick Vieira is a top manager, and I do believe one day he'll probably go and manage at someone like a Man City. He's that good because he's got the connection there when Pep calls it a day. But at the end of the day, I just think Olise, he's only going to improve. He's not going to go backwards, and he's only going to improve.
I'm looking at Olise and I'm looking at the way he plays, and I know he's got a next move in him, but I could see him being one of the few that could go over to a Madrid, Barca, and this is how good I think he is. But I still think it's too soon, but I just see the way that he plays. What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree with you because his style of play is not everything he does, he's controlled about it. And you've got to realise, 20 years of age, coming into the Premier League, he knows his next pass. That's the one thing I say about youngsters. Sometimes they're off the cuff, don't know their next pass, and everything's done at 100 miles an hour. When he gets on the ball, he slows it down and plays at his tempo. So you know, obviously, in the Spanish league, it's totally different. They don't play at the tempo like the Premier League. So someone like a Real Madrid or Barcelona in years to come could help him. For me, the Premier League is the best league in the world. But if someone like a Real Madrid or Barcelona come knocking on the door, you can't turn it down. Woo! Oh, yeah,
He's a top draw player, mate.
I've got, no one don't get Stevo, I've got him.
He's a top draw player that I want to focus more on. Because as I say, we've discussed it. I've listened. It's important. I've listened. I've taken it in. And boy, if I'm looking around at the players outside the top 6 now, Ramsey, that's my trump, as I said.
Of course.
But when you like cultured ballers and you look at someone and you look at them, you like, nah, this kid's the one. And I'm looking at Michael Olise, only 88 games as well.
Yep.
He's the one.
Because after me doing this, I hope he continues to.
And me,
progress.
because
Exactly.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So yeah, man,
Top
big up yourself.
Nice one. Good to
Thank
see
you,
you.
thank you. People, it's not very often that they change my mind, but Clinton's done that. What do you think? How good is Michael Olise? How good can he be? Is he ready for England, France, Algeria, Nigeria now? Obviously, leave some answers in the comments. Thank you to Clinton for coming in. As always, this has been In Defense Of, brought to you by Joe and Betball, with me, Stevo the Madman. Until next time, ta-da. You've been watching In Defense Of, brought to you by Joe and Betball.